Hello everyone and welcome to the Cyber Safety News Show here on the Safety News Network. My name is Adam Blue, and this week I'll be diving into various security happenings in the world of cybersecurity and even talk about what you could do to protect yourself. Very interesting news this weekend, or this week in general, because we got this Sony hack that occurred, this ransomware attack. But is it really what it seems? We're going to dive into that a little bit. Also, the royal family got hit by an attack. And then another government entity has been formed to deal with security in a certain way. And I'm going to get into that as well. But before we get started, this past week was NFSI's Slip, Trip, and Fall Symposium. Where people gathered together around safety standards, products released to meet those standards. Just kind of an interesting and probably much needed gathering of minds to talk about various ways where as products are manufactured, things are put into public space, that people are safe, people aren't falling, people aren't tripping. A lot of neat stuff came out of that, so expect some videos soon. And also on top of that, I got to meet John Quinones from ABC News. That was quite the treat as he was speaking at the symposium. But yeah, let's get started. Let's move on. First what I want to talk about is something that I think is very interesting, and this has to do with this Sony hack that happened. So what happened was a hacker group announced that they had successfully stolen data from Sony and was telling them that they need to pay in order to get the data back. But the more we dig into this, the more we realize this is, and it's very interesting to keep in mind, fake. Now, why is it fake? Well, really, if you think about it, anyone can claim they've done anything. And we might even get into that with the UK royal news in a second. But what happened with this one is a group claimed they hacked Sony, got a bunch of data, a bunch of personal data from people that they were going to sell. And digging into this, various cybersecurity professionals were able to look and see where, maybe someone got into some sort of system, some sort of server, but it was really a lot of nothing. There was just various bits of data that might not even have come from any sort of recent exfiltration of data, but that this could have just been some folder found on some unprotected Sony server. It was just a little bit of information. I think they said it was 2 gigabytes of data, which is not a lot. And Sony's just like, we're not going to pay that. And then we even have VX Underground, because nerds keep asking us about alleged Sony ransomware incident. TLDR, threat actors did not deploy ransomware. No corporate data was stolen. Services not impacted. Data was exfiltrated from Jenkins, SVN, SonarQube, and Creative Cloud Development. They're extorting Sony. So a group just happened to get some data. They're trying to get money out of Sony, but there wasn't really a ransomware attack. But they can market themselves. These threat actors can market themselves as something like that. Get people scared enough, you can extort money from them. So it's kind of interesting to see that among real ransomware attacks, groups can claim things and it not be true, and money can still be gathered from this. But I think that just at the end of the day, it kind of shows how that end result, that next step out of some sort of ransomware or data exfiltration, doesn't really amount to anything. And what I mean by that is everyone's data is out there anyway. You should treat it as such. You should treat it, if you're banking, if you're with a cell phone provider, at one point your personal information was exfiltrated, maliciously or maybe not maliciously or unknowingly. Your data's out there. This is an attempt of some group to try to get on top of that, try to get some money out of it. But if you were to just keep yourself protected, remember, have MFA on everything. Don't share information unless you really need to. And even if you do, check your credit score every once in a while. Just make sure nothing's going on. But let's move on to the next one. This is Royal Family's official website targeted in cyber attack. So, the denial of service attack, or DDoS, is when an excess of traffic is directed to a website, overwhelming its server and disrupting its functioning. Now, these attacks can be used for various means, especially to take down some sort of service that is required for something. This, who knows, could have been made to just get some attention. While the royal website was online on Sunday lunchtime, it appeared to be running additional security checks on users before allowing them on site. Checking if the site connection is secure. So that's interesting that they had something in place to check that right away. Earlier on Sunday, the Royal UK site showed an error message and would not let people access the website. It is not known who was responsible for the attack, the source said, adding that it was not a hack and no access was gained to the website systems or content. But Russian hacker group Killnet took responsibility for the attack, posting about it on their Telegram channel, but it has not been confirmed they were behind it. So again, some threat actors or some groups can claim things, and if they didn't do it, there's actually no way to prove that they did do it. So if you can't prove it, they're not in trouble. But if they can collect that fame, that popularity based on being responsible for this, that can just elevate them for whatever end goal they're trying to meet, which who knows? But it's very interesting. I mean, I'm not surprised that royal family would get attacked. It's very interesting that they had something in place, the IT administrators, webmaster, whatever, to be able to do some connection checking. And what's interesting is I am recording this not too long after the hack happened, so they've been pretty quick on their feet. And who knows if this is something that really happened, that in terms of that information really being released to the public. It could be that whatever security personnel they had maybe in charge of this in the background was sort of expecting this to happen. Maybe they got some rumblings and they were prepared to defend against it. You know, sometimes if you can isolate a breach, you're not necessarily going to squish it right then and there. You might want to get some more data based on the actions that the user's taken. Obviously, if it's something that's going to disrupt or harm persons or services, they will shut that down. But they could be using this, in a certain scenario to see what the attacker's doing to get more information from them. And then that leads to this. U.S. National Security Agency unveils Artificial Intelligence Security Center. Now, if I was in charge of cybersecurity and the royal family got attacked, I would use that as a means to get more funds in order for me to roll out some bigger cybersecurity initiatives. And we could see what I find interesting about this. This is U.S. national security. So again, not UK or related there, but they want to build an artificial intelligence security center, which is interesting because I think there's been some AI disruption that I don't think has been as big as people make it out to be. A lot of it has to do with artwork being repurposed, and people don't find that to be fair. There could be what I talked about in a previous video, the deep faking, but that can still be detected. But if you wanted to be able to fund some AI research and really up your game in that area, what better way than use security as the means to get approval for something like that? So, NSA Director Paul Nakasone says U.S. maintains advantage in AI development, but capabilities cannot be taken for granted, emphasizing threat from China. So, I guess, yeah, if you were to tell your boss, hey, look, China could run over us with some AI algorithms that we're not even expecting, we need to fund research into this. And of course, they're going to get funding for that. Even if these things aren't as big as they are, you just don't know. And that's the thing with security. A lot of organizations will invest into security into the future because they don't know what's going to happen. I think that's different than a concept of developing weapons to attack. This is developing protocols, initiatives, technology that can help sniff out, block attacks from happening. So this digital space makes a lot more sense than kind of the physical, especially if you think of how people can get killed and actual weapons being developed and not just AI digital development. So the United States NSA has announced the creation of an artificial intelligence security center that will oversee the development and integration of AI capabilities within U.S. defense and intelligence services. Director of the NSA and U.S. Cyber Command General Paul Nakasone. So there's that E at the end. I don't know how to pronounce it. Could be Nakasone, but that's not what's important here. Said on Thursday that U.S. officials were aware of the increasing importance of AI in the national security landscape. And the opening of the Newz Center was part of steps to shape the future of AI technology in the security, defense, and intelligence sectors. We maintain an advantage in AI in the United States today. That AI advantage should not be taken for granted. So they're already admitting, hey, we know exactly what we're doing with AI, but we could use a little more funding to fully build out whatever our AI defense is. Let's see. He spoke about the opening of the center and the growing threat that China posed. So a little bit of fear added in there. The AI Center will be incorporated into the NSA's current cybersecurity collaboration center, Nakasone said, where it will become the focal point for promoting the secure adoption of new AI capabilities across national security, enterprise, and the defense industry base. Now, AI, again, this is where that word, do they really even know what it means? There's algorithm-based attacks that could happen in the security space, but then artificial intelligence is a little bit of a different thing, right? When I'm thinking of an AI center, it's like, okay, there's going to be some AI bots that are going to come alive and take over. We need to secure for that. But if this AI center is just for algorithm-based security threats, that's a completely different thing. So I think this is an example of defense contractors or defense personnel with ideas needing funding for things can throw out buzzwords, really not have an actual understanding of what the words mean. Because again, I feel like AI is something different. It's almost like that movie I, Robot. They're building this AI center so they can fight against the robot rising of AI. That's not what's going on here. This is really just about understanding machine learning, understanding algorithmic-based digital movements across networks. It's a little different. I mean, even if you're talking about deepfakes, I know a lot of times say that's AI. That's just algorithms, and you can use algorithms to detect algorithms. So, at the end of the day, it's just interesting when they say that they want to create this AI center, because when I think artificial intelligence, I'm thinking robots that are taking over the world, and by then it's probably too late. So, interesting stuff going on. When you get high-profile attacks like the royal family getting their website attacked, you could get funding for organizations within a government, like the U.S. doing with AI, even though I'm not thinking giant robots or robots of any kind with their own minds are going to come take over us. This is just machine learning, algorithm-based stuff. But then we have what might seem like a high-profile attack, like Sony's breach, and find out it's just a group trying to take responsibility for it to get some clout. You get people to take them seriously. I don't know. It's very interesting out there because something that could seem like a threat is really not, and vice versa. So until robots start attacking here, I'm not really going to take an AI security center seriously unless it's what we don't know and there already is AI in this world. Is that where UFOs come from? I don't know. That's a whole other security thing. But anyway, guys, thanks for watching this episode of Cyber Safety News. Again, I am Adam Blue. If you haven't, please subscribe, like the video if you can. We've reached over 100,000 subscribers, which is amazing. Can't wait to keep going from there. But anyway, guys, have a good weekend, have a good week, and we'll talk next time.